Hey everybody, it's Sharon here from I Restore Stuff, and we are about to do some glazing on this cabinet that, if you remember my live last week, I did a live over on the Paint It Beautiful group and right here on my page, painting this in the colour Fusion Mineral Paints colour Seaside. And I said I would be glazing it this week, so I'm going to do that right now. But first of all, just going to check my live stream here. It's just me and my beautiful camera girl Tori today. I don't have all the fancy schmancy camera equipment, and I don't even have a microphone. So please let me know if you can't hear me properly. I'm just going to refresh this, and I'm going to share my live with my group. So just hang in a tick there. While I'm doing this, you could share it too. If you know someone who wants to watch glazing and how it's done, tag a friend, or you can hit the share button. You can share it to a page, you can share it to a group, you can share it, make sure you have admin's permission if you're sharing it to groups, and you can share it to your friends in private message, I think. Now, I left you with a question. I was still a little undecided. I think I'm decided now on whether to do a glaze that is a whitewashy kind of beachy glaze, which was one suggestion. Thanks, Carissa. It made me think. Or dark glaze, giving it more of a dramatic look, because the glaze sits in all these fine details right here. So I'm just going to check on that live a second. Here we are. Okay, so I'm just going to share that. Hi, Gabriel from Connecticut. That's how you say it, USA. Must be up late over there. I'm just going to share this to my I Restore Stuff group. And you can all follow that. Let me know where you're tuning in from. It's, what is it, nearly 2 o'clock? No, it's 1:30 here in Australia. And we're going to be doing some glazing. First of all, I've got a little dish to mix my glaze in. Now, a lot of people have said, what's your quantity ratio of clear glaze? So I'm using a clear glaze for this one. We do have an antiquing glaze as well, which was a brown colour, gives it an antiquing look. And I could have used that today too. What I love about the clear glaze is that you can mix it with any colour paint and you'll get a tinted glaze. So let me just share that again here. We've got any questions yet? Or we haven't even started, so let's just wait for a couple more people. There's a few people watching. And if you've just tuned in, we're going to be glazing this cabinet. You might want to take some close-ups of the detail, Tori, for them while I'm just doing this on the side. And you'll notice I haven't pushed the drawers all the way in because I've got paint on the sides of the drawers, and we don't want those to kind of stick. So, hang with me, hang tight. I'll be there in just a second. Tori's just showing you around my cabinet here. All right, so we've got our clear glaze, and what we're going to do is just tint the glaze. So it won't be a really long live today. We're just going to show you a little bit of the glazing, and then I'll just continue it and I'll post some pics up on my blog. But if you've got any questions about using the glaze, please ask them, and we'll do our best to answer. Tori, are you seeing comments there yet?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we've got comments happening. I'm going to use a small Klingon brush, so this one's an R14, and we're just, if you want to come in close a little bit, so you can see how much glaze I'm putting in. Now, because I've got to do this whole drawer set, I probably want to put as much as I think I might. It's a bit of a guessing game, but as much as I think I might want to use. The glaze does go a long way, so I've put, what, about a tablespoon? More than a tablespoon probably, but about a tablespoon and a bit. Now, I have decided I'm thinking I'm going to play it safe and go with the ash, dark charcoal ash grey. Hit me a heart if you picked ash, and don't send me angry faces if you picked raw silk. Just share the love. All right, so all we're doing is basically just tinting this glaze. Now, if you wanted to do several pieces and you want to know exactly what proportions you did from one piece to the other so that they all kind of look the same, you would measure this, as any good person was, but you know, I'm not going to. So I usually do about a tablespoon to a teaspoon. So let's see if I can get my teaspoon accurately. Well, what do you think? Kind of did okay. And I'm just going to use my finger because I didn't get anything else to wipe that off. Right, so we've just, all I've done is tinted it with a little bit of paint. And we're going to mix that up. I'm just going to go straight in with the brush and mix that around in the clear glaze, making sure I stir it right around, right to the bottom. And it pretty much just looks like grey paint now. But it is going to thin that paint out a fair bit. And glaze is really good to use because it has quite a nice long open time, which means you can work with it a little bit longer than, say, wipe on poly or something like that. So we've got our glaze mixed up now, just checking if there's any questions. Kim says she can't hear me. Can everyone else hear me? Hi Lisa from Sunshine Coast. I don't have a microphone on today, sorry, but you should still be able to hear. I'll try and yell. Is that better? Is that better, Kim? Let me know. All right, so I'm just dipping my glaze in here. What we're going to do is, we've got our clean cloth handy, and I'll try and do this on this section down here. What I want to do is work in sections at a time. We will have a little bit of time to play with, but we'll work along this section here. Got some glaze on our brush, and we're just smushing it into all the details. Now this is the scary part because it does look rather like, oh my goodness, what's she doing? She's just gone over that beautiful blue with a grey, which, you know, painting it grey could be good, but all that work, I'm painting its Seaside bluey green colour. Now I'm going in along that bit there because it all kind of joins, but you will see I'm getting into all of those little crevices. And that glaze, I've just dipped that brush in once and we're still going. So going right down here, want to get it into all of the crevices. I do have another couple of glazing videos on, I did a dark ash colour on a white, well, it was kind of a pebble, soft grey white colour. And that was really effective. You can find that on my YouTube channel. So we'll see the difference here. I'll just do that one for now. And a little bit on the inside, and then we're going to wipe back with our cloth. So let me just check in, any questions? We're all good so far? Yes, you can hear me? That's awesome. So watching as we wiping the grey paint away from the drawer, but it's leaving a little streakiness, glaziness, residue there. And of course it's leaving it in all the gaps. So it's really wiping it away from all of the high points on the piece and leaving you some darkened crevices. Now I want to get a little bit more out of those grooves, but still enough to just highlight a bit of, well, it's not really highlighting, it's shadowing, creating a shadowing effect there in the valleys. So, see how that looks. Could be a bit messy. I could wear gloves, but I'm not going to. Okay. See how it's wiping on there. Doing great camera shots there, Tori. High fives for Tori, everybody. Send her some hearts. She's doing a great job. My daughter's on school holidays, and this is one advantage. She can be my camera girl. Got any questions? Let us know. Okay, so you can see it's created just a really kind of dark shadowing there. You can see a difference between that leg that I've done and the one over here that I haven't. So the reason I work in sections is because the glaze will dry. It's still a little wet there. Let's just move on over to this leg here. Right, you can see that difference here between the two legs. You can see hopefully that, oops, got a bit of paper on there. Okay, so we're going to just do that again, a little demo. Thanks so much for joining me. If you're from Queensland, if you're local to Brisbane, we hold workshops where we teach you how to do decorative finishes. We teach you how to paint, furniture painting basics, if you've just started in painting your furniture, if you want to do it for yourself or do it as a side business. Yeah, we hold classes for that. We're actually doing a farmhouse clock workshop this Saturday. That class is totally full, but we have a sign making workshop where you can make a rustic sign. So if you're local, you can do that. I also do one-on-one workshops online, virtually. That is a thing now. All right, so we're going to just wipe this back again. Watch that. Hi Roseanne, thanks for watching. Hi Julie. Julie's a fellow painting friend. Julie from Chalk and Trees. Actually, Julie and I did an excellent wood finishes series, all about discovering what finish you've got. And I think I mentioned it actually when I was painting this last week. I mentioned that in the live and pointed people there. Julie's full of knowledge when it comes to furniture painted finishes and varnishes and wood finishes and types of wood. So yeah, that was great. Okay, so you can see the effect we're kind of getting here. Now let me go onto one of the drawers for you. I think, you know, I've got way too much glaze in here actually, because it really does go a super long way. Candace is watching from California. Awesome. Okay, so I've taken the knobs off, the drawer handles, and what I'm thinking of putting on there, let me just go and grab that just so we can see. I've got these new knobs in. If you're in Australia, these ship Australia-wide. I've got them now on my website, irestorestuff.com, and I think they'll look great there. You know what would have looked great too is a bronze or a copper kind of a glaze on here. You can go over that even with highlights. I could do some little dry brushing on top in a copper or bronze. Who thinks that's kind of a cool idea? Okay, so I'm just doing my glaze mainly at this stage. It's going to be going into those edges there. Of the drawer. But I will get a little bit of glaze wiped across there. So let's just see how that looks. You can always add more. It's just a matter of adding and then wiping it off. So you'll see the glaze does sit. If you've got, especially if you're using quite a thick paint with added brush strokes in there, the glaze will all sit in those groovy brush strokes. So it gives it a lovely aged but dramatic look, I think. So hopefully you can see that. How's the light there? Yeah, looking good. There we go. And so you can sort of touch it up to where you think, if you wanted to add a little bit more, you've got a little bit of working play time, but you can see the difference here with the Seaside up here and then the glaze here. Now some people, hi, Devon just joined in and said what products are we using? We're using Fusion Mineral Paint's Clear Glaze, and we're mixing it with Fusion's dark ash colour to go over the top of this blue-green Seaside colour. So you can see the difference here. We've got the just plain Seaside paint. We've mixed a bit of glaze with a bit of ash, and the ratio I used about a tablespoon of the Clear Glaze with about 1 teaspoon of the dark ash, which has made quite a lot of glaze, and I think I'll be able to do this and like 5 more of these because I've actually put a lot. It actually goes a long way, it spreads really well. So let me just do another draw here for you. I'm going to push that in a little bit more, and we'll go across here as well. So getting again inside the grooves of this drawer. Is there any questions that I've missed? Let me know, Tori, won't you?
Can you glaze over stain?
Can you glaze over stain? So like a stained wood or something maybe? I'm pretty sure that you could do that. So I'm imagining you could, for example, it would look good, like if you're trying to do a whitewash over a stain. It depends really. Just check if that varnish, you know, if the stain hasn't been varnished or something, because I think that could affect. If in doubt, I always recommend trying it on a sample board. Just get some offcuts of wood and try the look that you're going for. Use your paint, use your stains, But yeah, quite possibly you could do a whitewash stain over, a whitewash glaze over a stained wood to get a lovely beachy kind of feel. Okay, so I haven't gone in here yet, so we're going to go and do that. A little bit more glaze.
Someone asked, does this glaze work as a top coat?
I usually recommend that if it's a hard wearing area, like say on the tabletop, that you add some kind of tough coat sealer, like the Tough Coat Wipe On Poly, to the top. The glaze I find is a bit thinner than an actual sealer or top coat. So yeah, I would add that. But around this section, I wouldn't worry about adding a top coat, because Fusion has a built-in top coat anyway with the paint, so you've got that strength there. Yeah. So we're creating a little bit of shadowing, shading. Almost feel like a bit of an artist doing this.
Can you use metallic paint over glaze?
With the glaze, you can mix metallic paint in the glaze. You can even use it over the top. I was just saying before that we could actually use metallic, like a copper, because I'm using, is that bronze or copper? It almost looks coppery. But you could use a metallic paint to just dry brush and hit the high points of these detailed sections here to create another bit of a look there. So there we go, that's looking amazing. Now there's another thing I thought of before too that you might find or might have a question about is what's the difference between using glazes and using, say, an antiquing wax or a black wax. They're just a little bit of a different feel, and they actually go on a little bit differently. So the waxes are obviously a lot thicker and need a little bit more manipulation, I find, whereas the glaze kind of just really smoothly goes over the whole surface, almost like paint rather than wax, and you can wipe it back. I reckon just give them both a go and see which you like. I like using both waxes or the glazes for all different purposes, so could very well have done a wax with this and highlighted those same areas. But today I chose to do a glaze. Just going to add a bit more there to the centre. Getting some lovely variation. We do have a little bit of time to play with, but when you start to feel it going a little bit sticky, you know you've got to start wiping back. Okay. Now, so I'm just using a rag and it's getting a little bit dirty. We'll just switch it around. And it's not a perfectionist kind of a job. You can see little areas there. It's best to work along with the grain. So I've gone and done a swoosh here. We're going to get that, so you can just keep working until you see that it's the right, I don't know, consistency or whatever, all the way around. Yeah. There you go. So we've done the drawers, we've done the front. I may pull out those drawers and see that. It's got a little bit tight there. See the top of the drawers hasn't got all that glaze on it, so I might just go around that and just even, because you want to blend it on the areas that the blue is so that it's all even, blending all the way around. So I'll probably touch that up a bit later. But there you go, that's glazing. So Victoria, you just want to show them the difference again. We'll just take you around here before the glaze, and here's the ash glaze afterwards. So, and I would find that really interesting, what it might look like with what someone has suggested with a white paint mixed with the clear glaze. You would get a whole completely different look on this piece of furniture. It would be, you know, you get that whitewash effect on it. Now I've done both with the dark glaze on a light coloured piece, and I've also done a whitewash glaze over the top of a blue colour. It was Eulalie's Sky colour in the Miss Mustard Seeds milk paint range, and I've got both of those tutorial videos on my YouTube channel, so you just have to look up Restore Stuff on YouTube, subscribe to that. You may even find them on my Facebook page as well. I Restore Stuff. So thanks so much for watching. Is there any more questions just before I go? You don't paint the sides of the drawers, Natasha? No, Nadine says. No, Nadine, I didn't paint the sides of these drawers. Sometimes I'll do, if I'm going to paint the sides, I'll paint inside as well. But often, a lot of people are just leaving the sides and the insides completely untouched. These are looking quite good, in good condition. If they were kind of really stained or dodgy or scratched up, I might paint over them. But because they're still in good condition, I rather just leave the sides, and especially with these drawers, they're not actually on runners. I think it's like a Balinese kind of just roughly made piece. So they're not on runners. So you risk actually having the paint scratch and scrape along the sides in here. So these actually only go as far as there. They only tuck in a little bit. So I just made sure that I painted around the edges just as far enough away for it to get out. And as you can tell, they're still a little bit stiff here. And so I usually leave the drawers open just a fraction, especially when they're drying. Now I'll just go over this again. I can see it's annoying me. There's a line here of clear glaze, so I don't want that. I want that to be all even. So is there any other questions before I finish up? And obviously I will paint the rest of the sides, but you don't want to stand here and watch me paint all day. So I will go ahead and do the rest of this, and I'll post up pictures on my Facebook page, I Restore Stuff. Also, if you want to subscribe to my blog, my newsletter, you can do that at irestorestuff.com. And if there's no more questions, I think that's all for today. Thank Tori, and thank you guys so much for joining me. Bye.